So, in the news today, we can see that Syria is just falling apart. All hopes for negotiation and mediation between Turkey and Syria have gone out the window. The inability for Donald Trump and Michael Pompeo to reach a negotiation has led to the death and destruction of the Kurds in the lands that the United States promised them after they helped us with Raqqa. Somehow in the United States of America, it's thought of as if we're doing a good thing by getting out of the way and not attempting to stabilize the structure. Yet at the same time, there were many other options than to destroy our own weaponry and allow for women and children to run in fright while little babies died. And it becomes increasingly obvious that Donald Jonathan Trump, who believes he's the new David because he declared Jerusalem, has turned into a Saul, as his once victorious armies are marching out of the cities and he's being pelted with stones and rotten fruit, no different than what occurred with Saul when he went through the towns as a failure on his way to try to kill David. We also see that the United States goes for its true intention before it leaves Syria itself, to embark upon the pathway of creating a new venue for themselves, and that is of protecting the oil fields in Syria, which are not of the United States and are not owned by the United States. It becomes disheartening that even though we could have provided something to Syria to afford them their own constitution, to create a quasi-integration and allow the refugees in Turkey and Jordan to freely move back to Syria, the President of the United States of America has chosen this path in order to try to create a wedge between Turkey and Iran so he can have his war that he feels he needs to have against those people. It is a sad day in the affairs of our country and fellow countrymen when the people that you worked with side by side throw stones at you and rotten fruit, and your president claims that he's doing it to save troops, and yet our troops are only there because they are humans and they love the United States of America, and they go out into the world not as mercenaries, but as protectors and people who believe in the rights of other people and the safety of others. Though Donald Trump has forgotten this with his good friends like Eric Prince and Giuliani, Americans from the United States of America truly believe in a universal way of coming together and loving one another. And if dying for another person is the way it has to be, then at least we're dying for somebody else to be free. It is a shame that Donald Jonathan Trump has turned into Saul. Let it be known, as you watch them praise him and you watch them create lies for him, that it was written in the book of Revelations when he will rise from the sea of faces, and those that he names around him will be of thee. Those of him that are will be seen as those that brandish a sword of his, and they will also be seen as marking a mark upon themselves. They have chosen to mark this mark upon themselves as they agree with what he says, and that is the mark of 666. The final horseman, 666. For he rides alone in the desert and has caused a majority of these problems. Michael Pompeo, you should step down. You have failed your country. God bless God. In the name of God. Salah.